rotations. Utah with a 49-3-5 on ball has the lead. LSU with a 49 even on bars. Jay Clark did acknowledge before the competition that bars was an event where they didn't quite have as much depth as the other events did.
It's definitely their weakest event, so all in all, I think that was a really strong performance, especially for first meet of the season. I'm pretty sure Jay is very pleased.
So in this rotation, LSU will be on the vault and the home team, Utah, on the bars. Jay Clark, of course, 20 years with the University of Georgia. And then now the last several years with LSU. 33 years total in coaching. He's seen it all. And, you know, last year they had such a great season, but the wheels just fell off at the end. And I think it's a big night for them to kind of set a baseline for 2023, don't you think?
It did, and this is a team that we saw knocking on the door for all those years in a row. As I said, second place 3 different times. This is a great event, an opportunity for them right here. Elena does one of the best fulls in college gymnastics. Yes, the start value is only $9.95, but when you give no deductions away,
that's Elena Arenas from Athens, Georgia, the junior.
Just superb technique. Did you see the block? When they look like they are bouncing off the table and the arms are straight and they rise. And she lands right in between those lines. That's new this year in college gymnastics. You're going to see those lines to give the judges an idea of whether the gymnast has gone straight down the middle of the table.
Freshman McKenna Smith will lead off Utah on the bars. Boy, did she do great on ball. And then first rotation had their high score on the event at 9-9.
Easy start to this routine, making everything look effortless. You never want to be caught using muscles, using strength on bars. Yes, they are strong. Believe me, their core strength is amazing.
Wow, what technique.
But you show off the technique, the basics that you... Control and then to stick it. What a thrill. What a moment.
I mentioned that her club coach, Ed Birch, of course, he coached Trent Davis, who in Barcelona Olympics won the high bar gold medal for the United States. He switched over to coaching women's gymnasts, and boy, the technique really showed.
You just can't create good basics at this point in your gymnastics. When they're cooked in from the very beginning, and when she can get those legs together, because that's really the only thing that I saw in that routine that she could improve on.
Alona Shenikova now, the senior, doing 3 events tonight.
1.5 twist here. Nice form. Almost got the landing. Excellent distance from the table.
Elena Arenas had a 9.85, so good start for LSU on ball. You mentioned one of their best events.
Their vaults have really cleaned up. Notice how she fought to stay within those lines, those new boundary lines.
A couple of notes for Jay Clark. Kathy, you mentioned the lines on ball. We'll come back to that in a little bit, but there are a few new rules. Take a look at these lines. Now, there's no specific deduction for going over the line, but it's a reference point for the judges, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it shows good technique because you really should keep that alignment. Nice work on a little bit short on that transition down to low. Should have landed that right in handstand.
Abby Brenner, the transfer from Michigan.
What an addition to this team. Really nice job on that double layout. And I love that Tom Barton says one of the things she brings is that recency from winning a national championship. That is just such great experience. Nice rise on that double layout. Notice how it continued to rise into the second somersault.
She, like many athletes, used the transfer portal to make herself available to a team that wanted to give her a chance to get her 5th year. And wow, great. She brings leadership and a lot of energy and that championship experience from Michigan here to Utah. Aaliyah Finnegan now coming after Alona Shenikova had a 9.825.
This is called an only in check. It's a half-on front pike. Just a step on that landing. Very good block off the table. Good distance. Nice stumble there at the end in the recovery.
We didn't see her vault last year for LSU. Good to see her here competing in the all-around. They expect her to be in the all-around most of the season, Kathy.
She is just delightful. She has so much positive energy, and if personality could do gymnastics, you see it even in her gymnastics. It's just so explosive and so full of energy.
Okay, talk about exquisite swingers on the bar after Abby Brenner had a 9.8. This brings up Sage Thompson. She is just unreal here.
Watch this pack salto. Nice floaty air between the balls. Nice straight legs. Slight leg separation, but I believe that was intentional. The technique she used to go into that in-bar greenwood. Very difficult skill. Oh, I like that double layout. Really nice shape in the air. The judges are right on the side, and they can see that stretched body and those ideal shapes that every skill has. This transition, nicely done. Separated her leg going into that swing, but again, I believe it's an intentional use of that technique into the giant, into the game.
Scored a first perfect 10 of her career last year in a dual meet against Minnesota. She started bars every meet last year. KJ Johnson, the sophomore from Dallas. Boy, she can fly, Kathy.
Explosive with all caps. So she's fast, she's strong, powerful, and she can fly, and she almost found a perfect landing. Just bent those knees a little bit more, almost looked like she was a little surprised at the landing. But this vault is so down in. Look how open her hips are in that laid out position. And then they flare when she finishes. Sometimes she opens those arms out to the side. Little bit off center, you'll see closer to that left line. Again, that's just a guideline for the judges.
No specific deduction for going over the line, but it is a reference point. The judges know that she was just a little bit offline, although spectacularly high. Here is Miley O'Keefe coming after Sage Thompson had a 9.8.
Beautiful performer on every event. Her form is often just impeccable. Leg separation through toe crosses. They're extremely long. Look at the height on that double just gorgeous and cleaner than most.
Two-time national champion on both bars and floor back in 2021. You see why.
This is a difficult dismount to do form-wise, and she really locks those knees tight together, only separates them slightly in the double. Nicely done.
Miley O'Keefe, the senior from Las Vegas. Here is Kaya Johnson. KJ Johnson, only a 9.775, so that alignment deduction did cost her a little bit. High score for LSU is the leadoff Elena Arenas, 9.85.
Our first look at a double twist right here.
Nice.
Wow, look at that, and stayed within the lines. I think they all just got the message like, oh, they are going to deduct. See if I can get this straight. So needless to say, this is a 10-0 start value. The most difficult vault in the competition, double twist, and where they judge it on where it's landed, not the hop to the side. So she's well within those lines.
Crystal Issa now for Utah, the senior from Nevada.
Notice she does straight body pass, does not straddle up like most of the gymnasts. She looked a little unsure on that handstand on the high bar before she swung into the bail. Full pirouette, check this out, huge dismount combination. Very rare you see a full pirouette into the double layout. A lot of bonus points for that difficult combination. She paused just a little bit and kind of dropped down too suddenly, so it was a little bit awkward going into the bail. But that dismount combination, great stuff.
We'll get back to LSU now for the vault. Kaya Johnson had a 9.875. This could be a highlight. This, of course, is Haley Bryant, one of the most explosive vaulters in the world.
This is like a shoot-the-moon vault. I love it. Explosive, high. Oh, gosh, that position made me jump out of my chair was that out of the pipe, half twist. Watch her open her body, completely open, arms go out. She shows this off in such a way, it's just head and shoulders above nearly every vault in the NCAA.
Averaged 9.97 last year in the regular season. Now to Olympian Grace McCallum. Crystal Issa's score was a 9.775. All other scores for Utah in the 9.8 range and above.
Grace can shine here. She scored a 10 last year on this event, and she has improved. As she said in her interview, it's all about perfect in college, and she is really getting those legs straight. Look at that way to come back.
No kidding. After that disappointing vault in the first rotation, the reigning Pac-12 bars champion delivers spectacular technique.
That's a big routine, and she's figuring out how to handle this new type of pressure and doing it just beautifully. I love the straight arm work. There's no bend in her arm. She swings effortlessly into those handstands and then punctuates it with a stick.
Let's go down to Sam Pescic. She's with Utah's head coach Tom Fart.
Thanks, Bart. Tom, solid first two events. What are you seeing?
Typically what we're seeing right now is what we're seeing in the gym, pretty close. A little bit of nerves, but we're ironing those out. You got to get the first one under your belt.
What are you hoping to see on the next two events?
Just them to settle in now that we've got the first two events down, settle in and a little bit more calm demeanor, but they're doing great.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks. Go Utes.